Boom shakalaka. What's going on, guys? Randall here with Crypto Love, and today I have a video about Noia Network. Now, Noia Network is an upcoming ICO, and what they're doing is they're decentralizing content delivery networks on the blockchain, which is something that looks like it's going to work out pretty darn well on the blockchain. Now, I did an interview with the co-founder, Kipras Kazlauskas, so I'm going to show you that now, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to come back and go through the website with you, talk about it a little bit more. Reason I'm not doing it up front is just because I think we did a pretty good job of answering most of the questions in the interview. So check that out, and then I'll see you again at the end. Also, guys, thank you to everyone subscribing. Thank you to everyone mashing on the like button. And if you want to win one of these sick t-shirts, make sure you comment on this video or any other videos to enter for your chance to win at the end of every news episode at noon. Boom shakalaka. What's going on, guys? Randall here from Crypto Love, and today I am joined by Kipras Kazlauskas from Noia Network. What's going on, Kip?
Hey, I'm good. The wind and the sun, because it's evening already in Lithuania. So
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to go over Noia Network, which is a very interesting project I've been taking a look at. So, to begin with, why don't you tell everyone about yourself?
yeah. So as you said, my name is Kipras, or Kip. It's easier to pronounce that. I'm a former finance professional. I was doing asset management for many years. I made money from the asset management. I started investing into startups. So I've been investing into startups for the last 5 years. And of course, when the blockchain appeared at massive scale in this way, I started buying Ether, buying Bitcoin, and started to understand what the blockchain is and what does that technology can do. So with one of the teams that I have invested my money in, we started looking around what we can do. You can actually check that company out. It's called tellq.io, TELLQ.io. It's a cloud-based call center solution. Because in the old school way is to go to your telco provider, get the PBX, pay lots of money for the onboarding fees, etc. We did it as a SaaS, software as a service company. You can just buy the headset for your agents. They just make the calls, and you pay per user, which is using that software. And voice streaming is done through WebRTC technology, and video streaming as well. So having that experience in voice streaming, we started playing around, trying to understand what else can we do. And CDNs is a great applicability for that. The problem was that it didn't understand much of the CDN, how to do business from it. So we found a lot of people who were willing to join us, who were willing to teach us how to make business out of the CDN. We have several guys, like you can check it on the website, Virginius, Francesco, and Jim. Jim is actually one of the first employees of Akamai Technologies. He was running the network operations center from the get-go to the IPO. And Jim came back to the CDN industry, so he created Akamai Technologies. Right now, he's joining Noia to disrupt Akamai Technologies through decentralization. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself, and that's a little about the team. So Noia is building a decentralized content delivery network.
Great. So I think before we go into anything else, can you explain to everyone what is a content delivery network and why they're important?
Yeah, so imagine that right now I'm in Vilnius, Lithuania, and I would be watching YouTube video where the original server is in the US, meaning the stream needs to travel through the Atlantic Ocean, very long distance. And if you remember, like 10 years ago when you used to play computer games, for example, there were such words as latency, ping, buffering, load times, stuff like that. That's because the data needs to travel, long distances. So how internet industry decided to solve it is by copying the original server to other geographical locations. So for example, YouTube would copy their server or the content in the server to Finland, which is closer to Lithuania. And when my browser gives the request to download the video, the one that I'm watching on YouTube, it would understand that I'm actually sitting in Lithuania and I'm downloading the content from the Finnish server, meaning lower geographical or less kilometers to cover, right? Hence, I'm downloading faster. I don't suffer loading times, no buffering, no ping, nothing like that. And right now, 80% of the global internet traffic travels through CDNs. So CDNs are inherent part of the internet infrastructure today.
Okay. Yeah, so they're very important there, and there's a lot of big industries that end up using them, or big companies that use them. You mentioned YouTube there. Another one that I saw in the white paper were things like Hulu, or even one that we don't think about, like Pornhub, because they stream a whole bunch of videos. They're another one that could be that would use a lot.
Actually, video, like roughly 70% of the 60-70% of global internet traffic is actually video, meaning video contains the most of the internet traffic today. So this is why our top clients will going to be these either content aggregators like YouTube, whatever, Hulu, or content creators like Netflix, companies like that.
Okay. So now that we understand content delivery networks, tell us about Noia Network.
Yeah, so Noia network is different in a sense that, okay, I'll give you an analogy. So Uber is the biggest taxi company in the world without owning any cars, right? Airbnb is the biggest hotel company in the world without owning any flats or rooms. And Noia is going to be the biggest CDN company in the world without owning any servers, which means that by using blockchain, we're going to connect all the idle resources like personal computers, data centers, ISPs, into one intranet and sell the CDN service for the client. Meaning that when you have an internet plan at your home, you're actually not utilizing it to the fullest. Like you have, I bet, like 50 megabits per second, maybe 100 megabits per second internet speed, right? And the theoretical throughput or theoretical bandwidth that you could download is huge amounts of it. But actually, at home, you just browsing Facebook, watching some YouTube videos, maybe some Netflix movies. But you're not utilizing the remaining 95% capacity of your internet. But you've already paid for it, right? So what Noia is offering you, just plug your device in our network, and we're going to be using that unused bandwidth and pay you with Noia.
That's a really novel concept because people basically get paid back for services they're already paying for.
Yeah, and in this case, you've already paid for the service and gonna get money back from it. So our aim is actually to cover your internet bill.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's its economics, and that's how the economy, in our opinion, should work.
Okay, so with CDNs right now, you have some pretty big competitors like Amazon and Akamai.
Yeah.
What's your plan on competing with them?
Yeah, so our go-to-market strategy is, we call it no harm approach. Meaning, when we're going to go to YouTube, YouTube is not likely to very easily switch from the existing CDN provider because they're really cautious about the service level agreements. Meaning, if, for example, Akamai goes down, they need to pay millions of dollars of fines per day. So, as a startup company, as Noia, we of course we couldn't undertake such responsibility. So the no harm approach stands for we're going to be an additional layer on top of their existing CDN solution. Meaning, if our network is up and running, because bandwidth doesn't cost us anything, they're going to direct the traffic through the Noia network first. If we're able to deliver some cost savings, they're happy, they pay less for the CDN. If the Noia is down, then the requests are routed through the current or existing CDN solution, like Akamai, and they're paying the same bill as they were used to pay. So meaning there's no harm approach if they use us. The only harm is the additional request. It's just a couple of milliseconds. The end user doesn't feel, whether the page is loading 600 milliseconds or 610 milliseconds. Your eye doesn't see it. But if we're able to bring some cost savings for YouTube, they're golden, and we're golden because we're gonna get a part from a share of that.
Yeah, and so you were in the white paper. You were discussing how significant the cost savings are using Noia Network versus traditional CDNs. Can you go over that?
Yeah, so I can tell you, like for mid-sized clients, 50 terabytes of throughput that would cost $5,000. For huge clients, like the top players like YouTube, Netflix, Spotify, they're paying $1,000. no, I'd better say, yeah, 1 gigabyte of transfer costs $1 for these biggest clients. 1 gigabyte for mid-sized clients is like 2.5 to 5 cents, something like that. Since Noia doesn't pay for bandwidth, we can offer whatever price, and we can offer, without segregating whether you're a big client, a small client, a mid-tier client, a top-tier client. We don't really care. We're just, utilizing the already paid for bandwidth and relocating it through the market. So meaning we can offer whatever prices we want, but those prices are of course going to be benchmarked to the existing, prices in the industry with a little discount, so that the clients would be incentivized to use it and see cost saving.
Okay, perfect. And can you go over the content scaling layer and the CSL stack so people can understand that better?
Yeah. So to put it very bluntly, so the network is a network of these devices, as we call them, nodes, meaning they're interconnected and they form this internet infrastructure layer, the CDN layer. The CSL, the content scaling layer, is the brains, meaning that we need to control somehow that layer, how these requests are handled, how they are pulled, what is the best caching strategy, what's the best delivery strategy. So CSL is our proprietary technology that no one has ever built, or they were built just in a different angle or in a different manner, but this is the core of what Noia is creating, is these smart algorithms enhanced with artificial intelligence and machine learning solutions, so to reach the optimal service level for the clients.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned nodes, and I also saw there's talk about master nodes. Are these going to be master nodes in the traditional sense of master nodes that we think? Or are they going to be somewhat different?
No, actually, they're going to be a little bit different. Yeah, in the sense that master nodes will be controlling certain regions of nodes, because, for example, the Western European countries are very developed in terms of internet infrastructure. But when we're speaking about Far East Asia, they're underdeveloped, right? So we need to have these sort of local managers. So we call them the master node, which would be, sort of controlling the nodes which are beneath them. Of course, there might be some staking involved, but we will see how at the very end how everything is going to roll out on the architectural level. But the theory is like that.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up staking because my next question was about Noia Edge.
Yeah. So when your laptop is open, right? So there are a lot of apps. There are network disturbances. Like you cannot reach this optimal upload speeds. What Noia Edge does, it's a network attached storage device, meaning it is fully and on purpose built to serve only that purpose. Utilize your bandwidth to the maximum. Meaning you're buying that Noia Edge device, plug it into your internet cable, and when your computer is shut off, so turned off, like all of the bandwidth is literally routed to the Noia Edge, and you will be earning as much or the optimal amount of Noia tokens as possible given your internet speed. They're much more, how to put it, from the service provider's perspective, right? People can be using their laptops for running the software, but you might, just turn off your laptop and you as a node, you're not operating anymore. These network attached storages, they're always plugged into the socket. There's electricity, they're always plugged into the internet cable, meaning we can be more certain that that node is going to be delivering content persistently and to the best quality possible. So you're getting it for a very cheap price, and you're going to be making it much more money than just compared to your personal computer.
Yeah, and that's great. Like you said, it's basically paying for people's internet bills. That's pretty awesome. Free internet.
If you watch Silicon Valley, especially the last episode, the new internet with, doing token sale, hope our price is going to be better after launch. You get the reference of it.
Awesome. Now, I noted on the website that the MVP right now, or alpha, is kind of in a private but potentially going future into public where people can see it and use it?
Yeah. Actually, we were planning to launch it this week, but due to some technical glitches, we just want to make it pitch perfect. So I think it's going to be uploaded next week. So yeah, that's regarding the MVP. But yeah, so the MVP itself will be able to show that you will be able to download the client software. You will be able to run the actual node software and allocating your bandwidth and resources to the Noia network. You will be mining, not mining, but for the work that you're putting, you're going to be receiving tokens, even though not the real Noia tokens. It's just, Ethereum testnet. So you'll be receiving the Ethereum testnet tokens into your wallet, meaning it's a proof of concept. Really, the nodes are sharing the info. The master nodes are controlling how the nodes are, sharing that info. There's going to be some big traffic going around the network. So to utilize your bandwidth, you're going to get rewarded for it, but it's just everything's on testnet. But it will serve the purpose of the MVP. You will understand how it works. You will see how you can earn, and yeah. So this is how it's going to look.
Okay, awesome. We'll be looking forward to that. So I guess the next question would be, you already discussed the tokenomics, so I guess the next thing would be the ICO. When's that coming up, and how do people get involved in that?
Yeah, so official date is the 29th of May. So yeah, it's 2.5 weeks from now. What you can do is just to go to noia.network, check the materials, see the team, subscribe. There's a whitelist button, so get whitelisted, and yeah, you will be able to join.
Mm-hmm. And then with the team, you were mentioning someone earlier who basically was involved in the creation of CDN, and now they've kind of joined with Noia.
Yeah. So you should check James D. Robinson. He's, I think, the first person on the left on the advisor list. So Akamai Technologies was created back in 1998. So it's really 20 years ago. And back in the day, the average internet speed was 64 kilobits per second. At my home right now, I have 1 gigabit per second. So you see how much we have evolved. But even at that time, because of these slow loading times, the CDN was necessary. Hence, some guys from MIT decided that such service is going to be necessary. And actually, one of the first clients was Apple and Mr. Steve Jobs. So Jim was amongst the first employees, and he was running the network operations center, meaning 24/7, looking which parts of the network, which nodes are occupied, they lack, or they need more power, to transfer the data, etc. So he was running all the operation. Jim stayed there till the IPO event. So he IPO'd, and then he started investing into startups. And lately, he's been chilling in New Zealand on the coast of the island. But I accidentally got to know that there's Jim, who's also. I got to know Jim through actually blockchain events, and I gave him a call and said, Jim, look, I'm building a new project, which is CDN, a mixture between a CDN and the blockchain. And he said, dude, I immediately get what you're doing here. He understood it from the get-go, from the first minute. And I think in 2 days, we already agreed, we signed the contract, and he was a full-time member of the team.
Yeah.
So,
that means a lot for a guy who created basically CDNs to understand the concept immediately and then join with you so quickly.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to go to also Noia Network YouTube channel. So there's an interview with Jim, and he's elaborating why he joined, where does he see the benefits. You will hear a much more professional opinion from the guy who actually was and is leading the CDN industry. So yeah, please go and check it out.
So can you tell us anything, or what's upcoming for Noia? What does your roadmap look like?
So right now we're very actively fundraising. My co-founders, Domas and Domantas, they've been to Japan, China, South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai. I was in Israel, most of the European countries, and we're all meeting on Sunday in New York in Consensus for the blockchain week. So really, we're covering all of the hotspots of the blockchain market in the world, meeting the biggest crypto hedge funds, institutional investors, full syndicates, what have you. And we're trying to, I can actually give you a little secret. We've already closed the soft cap. So the project is happening for sure. It doesn't matter whether we reach the hard cap or not, but we're working and we're good. So we're working very hard on that. As soon as we close the financing round, the real work will begin. So right now in the team, we have roughly 16 people, I think, sitting in the office every single day, full time. Everyone's working hard, and we expect to get at least 20 people more, mostly developers, to join the team. Actually, our office is in the Baltics, which is next to the Baltic Sea in Europe, and our neighboring country, Estonia. You probably heard it from a company called Skype. And as you may know, Skype is doing video streaming or video calls. So there's a huge talent pool, or accessibility, huge talent pool, which is very, very suitable for our product. The technologies that they use and that we're using is very compatible. So we're more than certain that we can get very, very top people to work on the project.
Awesome. Yeah, congrats on reaching the soft cap. That's great. And then, yeah, sounds like you've got stuff lined up for the future. So I've pretty much answered all the questions that I've had here. Anything else you'd like to discuss on this interview?
I haven't prepared the questions like you did.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let me think, actually.
Yeah, well, while you're thinking, I can just say that the more research I've done about the project and the more that I've spoken with you, definitely the more interesting it's become, because this is a technology that, a lot of people can benefit from.
Yeah. No, but I have the interesting comment that you haven't touched, actually, competition. So our main competitors are, of course, in centralized services, meaning Akamai, CloudFront, Limelight, etc. Then there are peer-to-peer CDNs like Peer5, Streamroot. But the thing they're lacking is that, what they're doing is they also connecting idle resources of the personal computers, data centers, ISPs, and selling it as a CDN service. But they don't give anything for the people that contribute to the network. You're not getting paid. You're just allocating your resources, but you don't get paid in exchange. So blockchain is actually an inherent part of our technology and of our service, because we're building a decentralized economy, meaning that you can just voluntarily join in the network. You're gonna get paid for that, and everyone's gonna be happy. It's a win-win-win situation. And regarding the competition, then there's a new trend, right, of decentralizing and connecting some certain parts of computer, whether it's GPU or CPU for Bitcoin, Ether mining, whether it is the hard drive for storage, like decentralized storage services like storage, Filecoin, IPS, IPFS, etc. So our closest competitor, I would say, is VideoCoin. But VideoCoin is mostly focusing not on delivery, but on transcoding and storage. What transcoding is when you take a video, you need to resize it and reshape it so that it would fit on a different resolution device, right? On the tablet, on the PC, on TV, etc., etc. And for transcoding, you need a lot of GPU. For storage, you need a lot of hard drive. And for delivery, you need a lot of bandwidth. So if you'd open the white paper of VideoCoin, so you'd see that there are 30 pages on the 10 pages, whatever, on the transcoding, then quite a lot about the storage, and only half a page about delivery. So we're more than certain that their focus is a little bit on a different side, and we can actually be compatible services, meaning they're transcoding, they're storaging, and we're just taking whatever they need to deliver from the original server that they're keeping it to anyone else in the world. Yeah, so that's a little bit about the competition.
Cool. So thanks so much for joining me for this interview. It's been a lot of fun, and I definitely learned some stuff. I hope other people learned some stuff from it too. And then for anyone interested, definitely go check out Noia Network. And if you're interested, do your research. And, they have the ICO coming up May 29th, you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Thanks very much.
Yeah, so thank you. Thanks for having me. All right, cheers.
All right, guys, welcome back. So I hope you learned a lot on that interview. I had a fun time on the interview, and I think we covered a lot of the most important things about Noia Network, but I'll just go through it briefly with you and show you a little bit more. So their website, noia.network, and what they're doing is they're working with content delivery networks for the new internet. Now, you and I use content delivery networks every day without actually knowing about it. I honestly didn't even know about content delivery networks until I started researching Noia Network, but it turns out that's how all the video gets to us. So you got to think like YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, even Pornhub, which for some people is a big favorite. But all of those are using content delivery networks to get their information out. Now, the problem with that is that it's very, very, very expensive. Okay, very expensive. But instead of using these huge content delivery networks, what Noia plans to do is enable hundreds of thousands of computers to serve as points of presence. So basically, every computer that is in the world can serve as a point of presence, and that way they can help store the data for local use all around there instead of having these big content delivery networks. Now, basically, anything can use the bandwidth sharing, including a prototype that they have called Noia Edge. Now, that's something they're planning on creating in the future, that basically you can just plug it into your Ethernet and it'll basically pay for your internet. So that's a pretty cool concept they have coming out. You get rewarded in Noia tokens for that. And then it also works with businesses. So they're going to be working with a lot of big businesses to help with the content delivery. So for anyone who's interested, you can get the white paper, a one-pager, or for the more technical people, a technical paper on their website. And basically right now, so CDNs just aren't working because they're expensive. They're limited availability. So a lot of developing countries, like places in Africa, they don't have quick download times because there's no CDNs around there. Also, technological limitations. And one of the biggest things is that by 2021, CDNs will carry 71% of all internet traffic, and most of it being video. Like video is getting huge, especially 4K video, AR, VR, all of those things. So basically, they're looking to solve this problem because most people don't use their computer all day. They don't use all the bandwidth they have on their internet. So in households, 90% of the bandwidth is unused. Like I know for a fact, I have the 1 gigabit per second service and I don't use most of it. I use some of it and it's really helpful for when I'm streaming and everything like that. But I definitely don't use all of it. Even data centers have a lot of unused technology, unused bandwidth. So they're working to work with the already existing CDNs, content delivery networks, but also anything new out there as well, by their no harm approach of doing it, which we discussed in the interview. And they shall soon have a demo coming out. He said within a week they should have it. So demo coming out within a week where you'll be able to test it out and see that it works. Now, in terms of the roadmap, they are still pretty early on in the roadmap. So they've gotten the team assembled, and we'll go through the team briefly. They've done some research. The MVP is coming out sometime soon, and then they're going to have a token sale with Alpha, Noia Edge, Beta, all that stuff coming up afterwards. So for the team, here's Kipras, the co-founder who I interviewed. They also have a few other people on the team. And if you look at the companies that these people have worked for, I mean, first off, they have someone who's already worked with Amazon Web Services and Akamai and Cloudflare as a CDN architect, and he's working with Noia Network. All right, so I'm not going to go ahead and butcher their names, but I'm just going to show you the pictures here. All right, but then we have people who've worked with other companies like Skype, Microsoft, Telq, a whole bunch of other people. And then if we go down to advisors, so this is who Kip was talking about in the interview, James Robinson, who basically is the guy who created CDNs back in the day. He worked for Akamai. He was the director of network operations at Akamai, and he was basically responsible for building CDNs from the ground up. And when they told him about their idea for Noia Network, he was like, yeah, I get it. I'm on board. Now, also, Francesco also worked for Akamai. So a lot of people who have experience with CDNs, but also they have people with blockchain experience. So Anatoly has done work for Civic, and also Mirza, who's an investment advisor, is involved in a lot of blockchain projects. So they have all of that going on. If you want to find out more about the token sale, you can find out all of the stuff down here. So it commences on the 29th of May. Before then, you can contact them, info@noia.network.com. If you are interested in this or any other ICOs, always do your own research. This is not financial advice. This is not me saying, this is anything. This is me saying this is an interesting project. Do your own research. So that in all, I hope you enjoyed that review and interview. It was a very good time that I had there. And then I will catch you guys later. Remember, if you want to win one of these shirts, make sure to comment down on the video and let me know what you think about Noia Network. All right, I will catch you guys later. Peace.